Another day, another video. That's what I like to say. Hey, we're day 2 of our project, and oh man, it's, what is it, 12:25. I still have not gotten into any of the paint, and I've been doing prep work. I've been putting masking tape up. I also noticed there were some holes or some low spots here. I had to scrape those off, put some caulking in there, recalk the top of here, caulk down here, touched up the edge of this, checked that wall out, did a few little things over there, got my caulking gun out, and lots of the drywall down low was flaking off because of the heater had kind of damaged the outside of the wall. So I caulked that, put 2 coats of caulking, put masking tape down over the heater, and that's the other reason why I wiped down all the baseboards too, so that the masking tape would stick, because I have to put masking tape on here because, as you can see, let's look in here. All the baseboard is oak stain grade baseboard. If this was painted white baseboard, I probably wouldn't have masked this off, but I masked it off for a couple different reasons. One, I just lined it up, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get the paint perfect down there because this has been painted 4 or 5 times, and there's already paint goobers on top of the baseboard. So no matter how close I get it, you're still going to see paint on the baseboard. So I thought, okay, I'll put the masking tape on. I'll do a really super good job, get it as close as I can. And when I paint the walls, if the paint roller spits a little bit, it'll flake down on top of the baseboard. If that baseboard was white, you'd never see it, but because this is stain grade baseboard, you're going to see it. And so that's the other reason why I put masking tape. And mind you, when I start painting, I'm going to paint with the roller, the mini roller, and I'm going to go down fairly close to the baseboard, but I'm not going to just think, okay, now I've got masking tape there, I can paint all the way down there. I could take a crummy paintbrush and just go psh, 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 psh. No, don't do that, because this is textured on the wall, skip trowel texture, spray texture in other areas. The baseboard or the masking tape, it can only get so tight. If you were to take a paintbrush and just paint it at a 45-degree angle and just paint all along there, and some of that paint's going to go underneath, and then when you pull the masking tape off, because you've got a buildup of paint down there, the masking tape could rip off some of the paint that you just put on. So when I get ready to cut in, I'm going to imagine that I don't even have any masking tape down there, and when I take my cutting brush, I'm just going to cut in down to the masking tape. You see what I mean? Okay, and I also put masking tape up on top of the door frame, the window frames, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it takes a while, trust me. And took the cover plates off. Remember, I was saying this was the box. It seemed like the box, the cover plate wasn't fitting right. Well, it looks like just the screws are loose. I'm not going to tighten that up right now. I just wanted to show you that. But when I do that, I'll mess with that after I get all the painting done. I'll turn the breaker off and that sort of stuff, line that back up and all that. And I see I still have to put masking tape on the electrical outlets, on the light switches. You always want to do that. Don't leave a duplex outlet like that and think, oh, I'll be careful, I won't hit it with the roller, and son of a gun, right over. You weren't paying attention, you got half of it, now you got to clean the thing off. And it's a pain cleaning those off with a little screwdriver after the paint's dry, trust me. So I still got a little bit to do, and I've been working along here. I had to put masking tape all down here, and on this here, you remember I told you I was going to caulk that baseboard. You see there? I caulked it. Let's get you down this way. I caulked it doesn't that look pretty good? It's pretty straight line. You've got to do a little bit at a time. Key to that is having a small tip of your caulk gun. I'm waiting for that to dry before I put the masking tape in this section. But remember I had the door bumper. The door bumper was on the wall. I took that off. I patched that right down in there. I took the bumper, put it over here, and next time I come here, I'll take that one off and put a new one, a more heavy gauge one. But for the time being, that's fine. And I've got the these hinge door stops adjusted properly. Okay, they just happen to have two there. Okay, and I've got that, so it kind of bounces. See, if you're not doing it hard. But if a kid comes along here and hits it, well, at least the doorstop is going to stop it, and I've still got about a good inch and an inch and a quarter. When I put the new bumper on there, the new bumper is a little bit longer than that too, and this thing will stick out about like that. It'll be fine. Okay, I even went the extra mile. This was sunk in. It looks awful. I recalked that. Okay, and the different things, caulked above there where there was a crack, caulked down here. There was a plastic anchor there, took that out, caulked that, caulked up there. And so every time I turn around, I see something else that needs to be done. And you got to get to a point. And when I started cleaning off the walls and stuff, you just take one wall at a time and then concentrate on one wall. If you see something, fix it and go on to the next. Don't think, oh, okay, I'll remember this, or remember that, or remember that. Pretty soon you're not going to remember. Okay? And so now I've got everything ready in here to get painting. I've got this hallway done. The bathroom's almost done. I still have to wait for the caulking down there to dry before I put masking tape. Yeah, I'm still going to put masking tape down there. See, I put masking tape over there. I've got masking tape. I was able to fish it down underneath, around behind the toilet. Had to fix the baseboard over here that was loose. And it's like, hey, if I don't do that now, and when I get all done with this, somebody's going to say, hey, how come they didn't do this? How come they didn't do that? And so, you know, your paint job could morph into something a little bit more than you thought. I had to touch up this outside corner, touch up this corner, caulk a little bit, and reimagine a corner in a couple areas that had been flaked off. And it's just, you know, one thing after another. This is day 2. It's noon already, and I'm getting tired again. And I'm going to take a little break, and then, well, when I come back, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I know I'm going to get the paint, the flat or the eggshell paint done. I got masking tape on these. Got everything ready over here, and you know what I'm going to do too. And I don't know if you saw the other video, you might have come up with this same thing too. Here's my new paint. 2 gallons of eggshell, 1 gallon of semi-gloss. The semi-gloss is going to go in the kitchen, and it's going to go in the bathroom. And I don't know if I said if I had enough semi-gloss, maybe I'd do the closet or something. But I don't want to do that. And remember, this semi-gloss here, there's about this much left. Granted, this paint is 10 years old. This is a flat paint. I'm gonna throw this away. It's already dried up. I'm never going to use that again. We're not going to use the flat. That flat was on these walls. We decided to change it to the eggshell, okay, which is like a satin, a low sheen satin finish, so that your walls will kind of be glistening, and they'll be easier to wash off when you get smudges by the doors. This is a vacation condo, so when they come in with their suitcases and stuff, they might drag it across the edge in the closet, down this hallway. It'll be easier for the cleaner to keep this stuff clean because when you try to clean flat paint, there's only so much you can do before you start smearing the paint. But anyways, the closet that I have in the bedroom, I'm going to take this paint, because I was going to end up throwing this paint away. You know, let it dry out, put some kitty litter in it, do whatever, take it off the job site. We don't need that anymore. But I thought, hey, why don't I just put that? That's the Navajo white, the old stuff, and why not do this closet? Do this whole closet right here. Remember where the sliding glass closet doors were? I'll just do that, because why throw that paint away if I can reuse it? Right? And that closet is a standalone, even if that color is ever so slightly different because it's 10-year-old paint. It doesn't really matter. It's inside this room. It's inside a closet. Most of the time there's different containers here on the bottom, and there's different things up on top. You hardly see any of the paint. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'll be able to use up that paint. And as for the eggshell, I'll probably have at least 3/4 of a gallon of eggshell left, but that's okay. I might even have 7/8. I might not even get into it. I don't know. But once you mix up your paint at the store, if you get too much, you can't just take it back. They're not going to let you take it back if they had to mix it up. Now, sometimes paint stores have certain colors that you can get at the store, and if you get too much, you can take it back, because they can put it right back on the shelf, like a Navajo white, for instance. Some paint stores have a Navajo white, so if you want to do Navajo white, you don't have to have them mix up some special stuff, and they might have a deal for a 5-gallon Navajo white or 2-gallon Navajo white or something like that. And so you just have to kind of look around for stuff like that. So, okay, I just wanted to show you my progress, and I'm getting her done, and I'll keep working after lunch. Oh, one more thing I wanted to tell you before I left for lunch. Here's a tip for you. If you're going to be using caulking for areas where you're going to patch some different areas, like there was some different areas up in here that were hung down kind of low, and I thought, I can't have that, so I scraped those off, and I thought, hey, I'm just going to use my caulking. I didn't want to use any spackle. First off, I don't have any spackle here. Secondly, if you put spackle up there, you got to let it dry, you got to sand it, you got to put another coat on, you got to sand it, and then you should prime it before you put your finished paint. Well, if you're using caulking, painter's caulking, you can put that up there and it's all ready to be painted. But the thing is, with caulking, no matter what kind of caulking you use, depending how deep your area is that you're filling, you've got to put more than one coat. Now, this area here, I've already put 2 coats, and I can see as it dries, it sucks up. Okay, and I can see that one has sucked up, because that was a hole that went all the way up, and I filled it, and I put some more on. I knew after it dried, I'm going to have to put some more on. So after lunch, I'm going to have to skin these again. Okay, especially that one, and I'll take a look at the other ones. But you always have to think about that. So, you know, as I was doing that, I thought, okay, I better put a first coat on that before I start, you know, checking little nail holes. If you're doing a little nail hole, then you should be able to get by with just one little bit of caulking with your putty knife. You see what I mean? And then I was doing cleaning. I cleaned off different marks on the walls with the simple green, like I was telling you before, because once I put the new paint on, I don't want any of those marks to bleed through. Okay, if you see a whole lot of marks, I mean, you could use Kills, you could use Zinsser primer, any kind of primer you could put on the wall first, then you got to let that dry before you put your paint on. You see what I mean? And then you may have to put 2 coats of paint over your patch areas. And so what I'm going to do is any dark areas, before I get going, I'll put a little bit of paint. And if I see some little smudge areas, before I paint this room with the same color paint, I'm just going to hit the different dark areas, and then I'll work in another room, and then I'll wait, you know, a half hour or so before coming in here and then start to paint. So certain things, you just learn certain things along the way, and you catch some tips from different people. And you know, for the caulking, I had told you I did all the caulking back in there instead of spackle, and that's where the paint was flaking off the walls because of the heater there. And the caulking does a couple things. Caulking, it gets behind the rest of the loose stuff, because I scraped off as much as I could without scraping the whole wall off. And then when you put your caulking on there, that kind of gets behind the stuff that's still loose a little bit, and it will bond that to the wall. And I did that one time, and I ran around and started putting masking tape on the baseboards. And then when I got into the next room, I thought, okay, that should be dry enough. And I came and I put a second coat of the caulking over that, because I know certain areas it was going to dip in and shrink in. That's what happens when you use caulking. Okay, so just be mindful of that, and there's a way that you can fix it if you're going to use caulking. All right, that's it for now.